Good morning, everyone. I just want to introduce the Automated Cybersecurity Awareness Training Program webinar, which is going to be discussing key individual points for any business to develop its program as they continue to develop a security culture in developing a cybersecurity risk management program. My name is Edwin Milton from Carrickstead Global Inc., Managing Director, Principal Security Consultant, and Senior Lead Risk Manager in Information Security. Today we have Pinhas Jr., we call him PJ, and PJ has an extensive background in information security and product management development. I have led projects at Amazon Prime Now, ZodaPay, and currently at Cyber Awareness, sorry. PJ, vast range of knowledge, and etc. Should lend its hand as we discuss the Cybersecurity Awareness Program. PJ, can you go ahead and introduce yourself, please?
Hello, everyone. Pleasure to be here. As Edward mentioned, I'm one of the co-founders of Cyber Awareness. Very excited to be here and discuss more about how automation and training, especially when it comes to human factor, can benefit security posture and attack surface of a company's organization. And that's it.
Okay, good. So let us, we're going to have a very packed session. So let me move on very quickly into my brief presentation, which is very important. So on the very first topic, we're going to be looking at, presentation topic. My key one I'm going to be highlighting is the Organizational Cybersecurity Awareness. Why is this essential to understand in today's organization expanding landscape? And then all of PJ presentation is going to be looking at building a human firewall, the different methods that is going to be utilized, the insights that is gravely needed in many programs today. And in addition, once the employee is trained, how they can help you to defend your organization by reporting certain artifacts that can cause, a cyber attack such as ransomware, etc. The Organizational Cybersecurity Awareness or Cyber Awareness has to be growing as the expansion of the landscape of the business. So in every business digital transformation program or its programs, depending on its jurisdiction and so forth, you're going to have many applications that are going to be in the cloud. It's going to be online. You have situations how to access those applications. You can be bring your own devices, so that could be tablets, phones, etc. Email is obviously going to be there, but again, the transformation program expands the digital landscape. And I would have mentioned, the cloud, etc. As the digital transformation program expands, so does its digital landscape, which also implies that those landscapes, attributes, or components are vulnerable to cybersecurity attacks. Therefore, the risk of the business goes up. And if we're talking about the succession of that risk, we're talking about the cyber risk posed to those digital assets, especially the data assets. I have to correct that one, data assets. So therefore, once those cyber risk goes up and they become uncontrollable and unmanaged, you have a situation where it will also affect not only the digital transformation program, but it also leads to a cybersecurity attack or cyber incident in this particular case, which can lead to ransomware, exploitation of data, damaging of processes, and so forth. And for many different, depending on the type of industry, you now have to gain back trust, not only from current systems and so forth, but then from your clients. So it's very important to understand in any business, you're expanding threat landscape because of your digitalization and going forward to be competitive and responding to customers' queries and customers' experience, especially using your services. The key objectives of any program is to ensure the competence of the personnel involved in the operations of cybersecurity. You also want to educate stakeholders on the cybersecurity risks and the management processes. practices, etc., which is very important. It cannot happen in a dark room or left to IT to carry out. It also informs stakeholders in a timely manner for all cybersecurity attacks and social engineering attacks. Educate stakeholders on the protecting of the corporate classified classification and personal sensitive information, which is very important. This could be HR, this could be credit card information, etc., including intellectual property processes for categorizing and classification information. Again, within your organization, due to data protection laws and regulations, etc., or the standards of industry that which you're in, could be healthcare, etc. Everything needs to be categorized and classified. And this is how you treat data within a particular manner. It can be confidential, but still can be shared. It could be highly confidential, where only a few people is expected to know. It's also used to enhance the overall security of the business itself. In other words, improving the security maturity. Steps in performing training needs analysis. In this particular case, you want to determine the outcomes. So where are we having this particular training? Matching outcomes with the employee skills. Exactly what level the employees is. Is my program going to give me the ability to start training the maid who might not have much knowledge in cybersecurity or security awareness, right up maybe to the IT executive level? Identifying the abilities of not only in the organization, but also the person, the group, etc. Evaluate the abilities gap, which is very important. Where this is identify the different levels within the training that's definitely needed. Prioritize training needs, select the training methods, conduct cost-benefit analysis. If this program will work for you, is it beneficial for you? Is it achieving the results it needs to achieve? And also prepare for training evaluation. After all the training is completed, did the training work for you? Is it giving enough feedback, etc.? So the training security program activities at this particular point in time is to establish an awareness program, contact awareness activities, determine the competency levels that is needed, establish a competence development program, plan the competence development activities, conduct the competence development activities itself, and then evaluate the development activities. In this particular case, for those who might have gone through the ISO 27032, which is becoming a lead cybersecurity manager, you'll be familiar with a lot of these different activities, especially the ISO 10015, where we want to build the competence of the person or of the team, etc. So we look at the knowledge, the behavioral skills, and the skills itself to become that human firewall. Now, establishing the program and all these activities here is what PJ is going to go into. And I think that this program or this webinar should highlight how effective a program needs to be on the principle of not only ISO 27032 and also the ISO 27001 and etc., but it follows a particular path that is going to be very important for any organization to develop a security program. PJ, I am going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen, and you can go ahead and share your screen.
All right, thank you. So again, thank you everyone. Good morning in Barbados. I think for me it's more afternoon. So yes, following what Edward said, I'll tell you a bit of how we came with cyber awareness and how it really correlates with all the things Edward just mentioned. So cyber awareness is, I don't think it's something new. It's something that already is in the past few years. Maybe it came in different shapes. It was more offline. Today, I would say more digital. Co-founder built cyber awareness. We decided a big gap. I'm myself a security guy. Gained my experience from 6 years serving in the Israeli intelligence community, where I really gain of both blue and red teams of understanding exactly what can you do and what you cannot do when it comes to cybersecurity. And as the times moved on, I started to understand that there is a huge gap between what employees, or let's say any organization today, are suffering when it's come to, I like to call it the attack surface exposed. And with cyber awareness, our understanding, we came from a world of background of really training cyber professionals, so SOC teams, analysts, and things like that. And when we came to, let's say, for the girl in the administration, the guy from HR, the person from accounting, we really found ourselves very challenged to try to understand, to explain them why they need cybersecurity, or why even to explain them. I think it's one of the biggest questions is, or biggest challenges, making them understand that they can be a target. I think in some ways today the biggest thing is to try to lift up the curtain of really, for each employee, understand that he can be a target for a cyber attack. I think most of the people, definitely most of the employees, understanding that, or don't understand why someone will attack them. They don't understand that this is there is an entire economy that involved phishing economy or hacking economy. It's quite cheap to achieve that, and the ROI is quite good. It's good business to hack people, and for if it's a ransomware or just simple phishing. And when we build cyber awareness, we try to build something that will be super accessible for both sides. So one, for the employees, and second, also for the people out there in the back office, for the security guys, for the administration, for the IT guys. And I would love to show you what we did so far and where we're going, and also would love to get your inputs. So let's start. So with awareness, our goal is, as I said, to increase awareness and minimize the exposure for cyber attacks. I will not show the video. I can send it later to Edward. So basically today, as I mentioned, it's economy. So the economy is going between the people that gain money from it and the people that are losing money. And when you look on the price tag today of any phishing attack, that is so simple. The damage, not only by it's hard to quantify it only by the days that the business is not able to work or produce, but also from the reputation, the branding, the reputation for these clients. Today, if you're a business of even if it's a law office or any service provider in government, when your clients understanding that the data that was in your possession, their valuable data, is being breached, they're not only losing that few days that their system was shut down, but they're also losing sometimes clientele and losing a potential deal flow just because there was being shown as weak or exposed. And I think when you really look today, you really understand that most of the attacks that are out there and are being, there's articles about them, and the one that are most known are coming really from a very simple mistake. Nothing is too fancy. People that are not coming from the security world always presume that when it comes to hacking, it's a big going, a lot of numbers and digits are running on a screen, and someone is hacking a port or a server. But in the end, you just need a simple guy or person that he has a username or password. Sometimes even you're not really targeting that company, just scanning or really firing to all over the internet, and someone is pressing that link, and from there it's quite easy to take it forward. That's what we're trying to understand with awareness. So basically, when we really understand that your strongest asset in your organization, the people, the employees, that the one that makes this organization what it is also your weakest link. And it's also the place that, let's say, your soft value will attack can be made and damage can happen. Let me move a slide. So our goal is basically to have with awareness is to give you a platform that really it's involved not any additional background before. We're understanding and we provide tools as automated training that will soon will go more in depth, and also our new AI builder. But our goal is really our understanding of people that coming from the security world, and also from, as I mentioned, for both blue and red, that security guy or IT guy, or maybe the IT guy can be the most talented person in the organization, but to be able to transfer knowledge to other people in your organization, you need some kind of skills and experience from educating and how to create that engagement of your employees. That is not something that is, let's say, it's not in the toolbox of every security guy or IT guy out there. And our goal with awareness of looking on the numbers and looking how often employees are being trained is to provide all the tools that will automate that scenario and be able to allow awareness training program that doesn't really require any prior background. Because if today I will tell the security guy in any organization or any of your clients, build training web program, there will be a lot of questions. You will probably build something, but there will be a lot of questions regarding of who you're building it for, who are your personas, what are their background, are they technical, are they not technical, are they familiar with cyber attacks, what are they? It's a very wrong, let's say, assumption to go and say like I'll provide the same training program to my VP R&D, that is a person, let's say, know what SSL is, and say that the same program will be also suited for my administration, my office administration, that is, besides browsing the internet and maybe order inventory for the office, is definitely not knowing what's SSL or what's any kind of encryption over the internet. So from that understanding, from that approach, we created a platform that allows you basically to build a solution that can maximize the potential of any employee, and also help you deliver that and engage with your employees in a very smooth, fast way that will not make this thing a program that requires a lot of resource, a lot of attention, and sometimes a lot of experience that our companies don't have. Like if I take a security guy, I'll take a security guy that is good in security. Not always has that extra experience of knowing how to transfer knowledge to other people. Definitely not an entire company. So that's part of the things that's our agenda, that's our mantra. And when we look at it, we do the following. Sorry, the slide is moving super slow. We understand that today contact is the thing. So we understand today that we have to accessible a lot of content to help different companies in different industries, but also different employees or different positions inside the industry, to have the specific tailored made from the attacks to the actual training that is suitable for them. And we are able to create an entire ecosystem of being attacked or also to being trained that is suitable for the employees themselves. We see it as something that is always growing. For me, if someone is being trained on an attack that happened 5 years ago, is less relevant as a security champion, I would say. But from our eyes, if I'll give an example. If, let's say, the WannaCry attack, I don't know if all of you are familiar with, that happened, I would say, 2 years ago, ransomware. If this attack is currently happening, why not already train your employees a week after it's out there, or it's being recognized by different security organizations or individuals? So our understanding that content needs to be super accessible and super fast to produce and to deliver, because if you provide a training just for the sake of the training, it's great, but this knowledge is something very temporary, definitely in the back of each employee and his, let's say, core tasks. So we build a mechanism that helps you basically to recognize, identify, build, and deliver and also in a way that is engaging, content that is relevant, not only for the actual employee, but also for the actual situation of the, or let's say the risk factors that this company is, let's say in the financial industry, in the government industry, and so on and so on. So to give an example, I would like to show you one thing that we just really launched, and I also want to do a live demo here. It's really fresh. It's our AI simulation builder. So we were able to harness the capabilities of AI today and to the world of cyber awareness training, and help by just really taking any text or writing any word you want, any, let's say, prompt, if I go to the AI logic, and be able to build an entire awareness training session that involves not only the email, let's say the attack vector, the phishing email, but also the landing page and also the training afterwards, to allow stakeholders in organizations, security champions, and let's say cyber awareness training champions, to be able to deliver any kind of training session they want or they think it's most suited to the organization. So basically, think about it. If I'm in an organization that is in certain region, in certain industry, with certain company culture, I want to be able to tailor-made an awareness training in a matter of minutes. I'm not even talking about days or hours, that will be suited to what I think should be the best thing for my organization to have, to be experienced. And we see it as a game changer when it's coming to cyber awareness training, because if you think really, knowledge has a very short shelf life, right? Like I always love to ask the question, who remember? I can ask the most simple question: if you remember what you ate 5 days ago for breakfast. People remember, but for a very short time. And it's, I know some of us are security people here and think that every person is waking up every day and thinks, what about my security posture, every employee? But it's not the case. And people are going off with their routine, with their work life, and also their personal life. And this knowledge that you maybe trained them a week ago, or maybe even 3 days ago, about not putting the USB inside the computer, or not pressing a suspicious link, or maybe hover about the link just to see if the URL looks legit or not, is something that in a very short time it's just, you know, expired. And we see that the most agnostic way to be able to maintain, let's say, that tension, that awareness to cyber attack, is always some way, always also remind the user that they can be attacked, and he needs to know that maybe it's a simulation that is being attacked or not, but maybe it's a real hacker. And for us, it's just building that entire ecosystem of helping the employees understand that they can be a target, and they can be a target for a very, let's say, simple phishing, but it can also be a target for a very sophisticated one. And always maintaining that operational, or let's say, awareness with them, because it's like a roller coaster. It's going up and down, going up and down. And us as security people that are in, IT people that are in charge of the awareness training program in the company, our job is somehow to maintain that awareness from not falling down, and definitely also not meet a real attack while it is down. So I want to give you a glimpse of what we just built, because I think it's super cool, but I'm biased, of course. And to give you just a glimpse of understanding the capabilities of our program, and how it's very, very directed to automation, training, and especially tailor-made, no code, any kind of scenario, any kind of phishing simulation for any organization, industry, or persona. I want to ask David if he can provide a demo and share his screen. David, can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you. I'm just going to give me one moment so I can. It'll stop your sharing, so I apologize for that.
Yeah, sure. So David is one of the Cyber Awareness team. I just, I really appreciate all of you coming here. So I really wanted to show you this new feature that we just work on. And of course, I'll explain more about the entire platform of Cyber Awareness. But I think this feature really demonstrates, first of all, how innovative or always how we stay ahead, continue really harvesting any technology out there and be able to improve more and more the cyber awareness training as an industry, really, and not fall back. And how we're making everything no code and super simple, so really any person can be able to provide that. David, go ahead. And also, Edward, if you have any questions during this session, also feel free, and I'll continue after this demo.
No current questions at this point in time.
Okay, great. So you know what? So I'll just explain what we're really seeing now, and David can do this up. So basically, we're currently in the UI of our simulation AI simulation builder. So our understanding is a lot of people, or for our clients, from our partners around the world, we truly understand that there are a lot of people that say, great, the awareness training program, but I want this, so I need this. So really have a lot of, they really know what they want, or the understanding of what they would like to perform on their organization. But then they see a library and not everything is exactly what they need or want. And I see the awareness training session or the simulation is, it's not something that happens every day. So you really want to maximize the potential of this awareness training simulation, or say education lesson. So for us, we handed out or were able to provide a builder that allow really to build any kind of simulation you want, but not only the simulation itself or the email, but also the landing page that comes afterward, and more, and last and not least, the actual training program or the red flags. So we can provide in a very short time a full, complete session that allows you to tailor-made anything for any industry or organization. So David, here, as you can see, there's the language that can be decided, the tone of voice, who will be the sender, and then you can just write anything you want. You can impersonate as a human if you want, or you can be also a person as an app. If you want to send a phishing that looks like a system notification. And you really can go crazy. David, you want to explain a bit what you wrote in the email body, and then...
Yep, no problem. Can you hear me still, or am I muted?
Yes, we can.
Okay, I'm just going to pull up another one right here as well. So as you can see here is just an example of, say, impersonate app. I generated it ahead of time just because to save some time on the actual generation process, so we can just show you right away. So as PJ already pointed out, let's say here we chose the language, we chose the tone of voice, sender name, and sender position. So here I chose PJ as my sender name and used his position to generate it. And then I decided that in my organization, whatever it may be, I know we have an issue, let's say, with parking. So I'm excited to tell everybody about new parking spaces that we just allocated to each individual user. So in here, to each individual worker inside of the organization. So let's say here inside of the email body, I just want I gave it generally what I wanted it to say. So like I wanted it to be an update about allocated parking spaces. And then I want to add click to receive the new spot. So the user will know that we want them to follow some sort of process to go to the next page, which might be a landing page in this case. So we want them to entice them into clicking on the next stage, which would be to receive the parking space. So this is just the only email prompt that I gave, just something very simple. And if you look here on the right side, we can see what was generated from the information I gave. So here you could see hi first name. In this case, it's just a placeholder But when the email would be sent, it would be a personalized email. So if it were sent to me, it would say, "Hi, David," excuse me, and then the rest of the body of the email. And we see it's exciting news. I gave it a tone of voice of exciting. So we want to get everything. We want everybody to be excited about the new parking spaces. And then we have we've updated our parking allocation, and if you got a new spot. To find out where your new parking space is, simply click here. So it's built the email off of the email body that I gave it of generally what I wanted it to be. In addition to that, I don't have any right here, but I can also give it additional instructions. I can tell it if I want a specific structure to the email, if I want to add a specific sort of
graphics.
Yeah, any sort of graphics. If I want to add, let's say, a blue actual button for it to be the actual the call to action, I can choose that as well. I can define some sort of email signature, as in sign the email off with best regards, and that'll say best regards, PJ Maimon. I can also, if PJ in this case, let's say if he has some sort of email signature that he uses all the time, I can also upload a logo or some sort of email signature that I want to use, and it'll also be added into the email at the bottom. And as PJ mentioned, one of the things of different people inside of an organization are at different levels and have different knowledge bases. So we do offer the ability to change, let's say, difficulty level. So we can generate a very easy template and a much harder template. It can also be the same exact email body, just we can generate it in different levels depending on the difficulty level that we provide. So that can also be divided, be created for people at different levels, and personalize the template. So this is here, first name is personalized. I can also choose to not personalize it, so it's more generic, and it would say, "Hey guys," or "Hey whatever I decide to give it." So that's what we have for the impersonator human. It's pretty much just designed to impersonate just a regular person, as opposed to, let's say, a company or something. And since we are on Zoom now, I also generated an app impersonation as well. So in this case, it's pretty much the same thing. I give it a language, I give it a style. So do I want it to be designed, or do I want it to just be plain text? Since I want it designed here, and I know Zoom uses a design, I can just tell it. So it gives me a header and a footer and a little more information with the logo. I tell it that I want to use Zoom, and once again, an official tone of voice. And here I gave it a much more simple email body. I just told it platform downtime, and just 2 simple words, hit generate, and this is what it gives me. Once again, it's personalized. So, "Dear David, we regret to inform you that our platform will be undergoing a scheduled maintenance. Will be temporarily unavailable. And if I want, in the end, if I want more information and updates, I can please click here." So that's what it'll give us here. So here we go. Once, let's say I have now the email, I know that's what I want to use. I'm just going to hit continue. Then I get to a landing page. So in this case, I'm just going to go for account verification, because here we're going to be verifying a license plate. So if I just choose verify license plate, let's say, license plate with input. Oops. License plate with input. Because in this case, I want to have the user check to see where the new parking space is. I want to check on the license plate. If it were really anything else, I can also request any specific fields that I want, because in the end of the day, as well as the email templates being fine-tuned and being more customizable, we also want to have the landing pages, because people use different landing pages for different things. Here you can see it takes a bit of time to actually generate, and we'll get the actual page. And we can actually get a preview of what it looks like. So here we can get a preview. Here I can open up the full screen. You can see here now, just account verification, please fill in the form. And you can see it's requesting my full name, my email password, and my license plate number. And then in that case, I would submit it, and that would be the end of the simulation, and passing, failing, depending on what was defined. And here we can see also just a generalized overview, summary of everything we have. So we can see what the email looks like. I can see what the landing page looks like. And in addition to that, we also have micro training. So once someone is to, let's say, input information, we can opt to send them to a micro training so they can learn from the process. And all of that is done in the platform automatically when we want to generate an AI template. It's all done for you. All you just really have to do is just give it your prompts, wherever you think is best for your organization, for what you want. We'll go in. So here, this we can do let's just do demo template. Let's do demo AI template. I'm just giving this a name because we can save it, and then we can see, we can actually see the template after inside of our library. So this will just take a second, and then we'll be forwarded to the template profile, which from there we can launch the template to wherever we want. And here we go. We just generated a full template from email to landing page to micro training within a couple of minutes. And here we already have a template that we can now just launch and send to whoever is needed.
Thank you, David.
No problem.
So really, again, what we try to showcase here is, let me just go back to the presentation. Sorry. Is the ability to really do any kind of simulation you want to do as a trainer, and be able to provide the most custom-made automated simulation and awareness training to your employees. And we understand that this thing cannot come just by doing the simulation. We need to also have insights, because when you think about the security posture of the organization, and definitely when it comes to the human factor, it's things that are changing. It can be, there's different factors from the engagement of the users themselves to how they performed in the simulation. And you cannot judge everyone the same. As if someone had a very hard simulation and the other had a very easy one, this is also need to take into account. And also how long it was since the last time we had some kind of simulation or an awareness session. So we take all this into account to really understand the risk factor of, or let's say, how well this specific employee is, and also what is his exposure segment. So where is he good at and where is he fails. Let's say if it's always a personal email, he usually always fail, but if it's a system notification, you always understand that it's a phishing, to be able to tailor-made the next session, or be able to have a more effective awareness training the next time to see exactly where its weaknesses. Here we show an example of the employee, but for any organization, definitely, when it comes to hundreds of people or tens of people, even not even, we'll talk about thousands, it's very hard to look at things in the employee base. So we also provide it in a group level or departments to understand how your financial team doing, or how your HR team. We also provide on each employee, because sometimes you want to investigate or understand exactly if the financial team is doing very bad, why, or who are the 2 or 3 people that are always failing over and over again, and maybe have something more tailor-made for them. We give a full transparency of the campaign simulation itself, when it starts, when it ends, and how the awareness level, let's say, was for the entire simulation, and how it was just for a specific office. Let's say you have a number of offices across the country or across the world, and allow you to also afterwards not only get these insights to be able to understand how a simulation went, but also to be able to prepare better for the next one, and be able even to assign based on an office, or based on a group, or based on a certain kind of criteria. We really provide a very dynamic way, not only to get the insight, but also afterwards how to execute them and make them call to action. When it comes to the phishing alerts themselves, we are always providing really almost, I would say, real-time feedback for the security team or for the administration that is operating our product, of events of who is doing what, who opened the email, who already was sending an email, or who already entered their own details. Of course, I don't need to say it, but we're not saving the actual details we're getting, so there's no exposure or any, let's say, any kind of us collecting any kind of sensitive data, but we are able to track the events of understanding if a person only opened an email, or a person also insert his username or password, or even his license plate. Sometimes people are looking at it and saying, well, the user only put his license plate, and we call these things in the industry PIIs, of personal details of like personal information indicators that will allow you to understand more about the same person. But when you look only on a license plate number, you say, okay, this is something that is not not a big deal to have, or if the hacker will take it. But when you are able to collect the number of personal information about someone, this is giving it a ground base to a much more sophisticated attack. So today I'll take the license plate, and then I'll be able to take his bank account number, and tomorrow I'll be able to get also his full home address. And maybe you will tell me each one of these details separately is not such a, let's say, big damage, but when you combine them all, and you can come to an employee with spear phishing that says, hey, this is your car that was parked in this address, and because of this kind of fine, this account will be now seized or be held or freezed by this kind of a bank. As the person that's being attacked, I see an email that has like 3 or 4 personal details of myself. 90% will believe that this email is genuine, and I would probably will fall for this cyber attack to this hacker. So really understanding that any detail, although it maybe looks insignificant in the beginning, is valuable in the long term. When we look on the report, we also understand that this awareness training program is not something that is only built for the security stakeholder in the organization, but it also needs to be communicated out for department managers, the CEO sometimes, the regional manager, different stakeholders that maybe are not hands-on on the actual awareness training program, but are informed and want to know what's their situation and how and where they need to go and where they need to redirect resource. So we are equipping our security teams with a full detailed report of what exactly happened in each simulation campaign. What was the score? How much people insert data from which department it happened? What exactly happened? And number of employees. So we're allowing our champions, let's say in the organization, to communicate different stakeholders, if it's the management or board of director, or maybe even colleagues or manager departments, what did they do and where they're standing now, to be able to make this not something that is only on behalf of the security team or the IT team in the organization, but something that is a collective for the entire organization, and to be able to also make them more engaged to continue. When we're talking about the video training, so we really focus till now on the simulation and stuff, but in the training, we once again are not taking any kind of industry as our standard or as the benchmark, and really trying to understand what will be the best thing for our champions to go and to, let's say, advocate for cyber awareness, yes, but how to make their life as much easier. As any security guy knows, the backlog of security tasks is always full, and usually you get to the critical and the urgent ones, but our goal is to make this a hands-free solution for security personnel and IT personnel, and really anyone that wants to push awareness training in their organization. So by just automating the entire thing. So we already had a glimpse of our AI simulation. It really helps you with no code, be able to build really any kind of simulation. It also comes with their instant micro training solution that understands that it's very hard to keep employees engaged again. And you want to transfer them knowledge in a very short time and make that stick in their head, so they'll become an asset and not only vulnerability. So they'll become really your first defense line, as we like to say in awareness. So we have the instant micro training solution that really that can be, I would say, maybe 2 minutes by any employee, that after he completed simulation, he get a walkthrough of exactly what was in a very non-login way that really require a very low engagement from the employee side, understanding what were the red flags that he was supposed to get. It can be for misspelling, grammar, sender URL, non-personalized email. We are automating it. So also in the AI builder, it's also providing the micro training solution. A very quick walkthrough of, okay, you failed, or well, you succeed, but let's just go through what were that red flags that you maybe noticed or maybe unnoticed, or maybe noticed, but you thought, okay, this still make it genuine or not. And we see a great success with this feature as we see the fast impact you can create, because if you, and we'll show a video library and the training that we do, if you always wait for the employee to complete the video training and also be educated about it, the effect you want to get as a security personnel is the cycle is too long. So for us, this is a quick win that we're able, by just showing the simulation, first of all, allowing the employee to understand that he can be a target. Second, that he can fall. Third of all, if he can fall, why, and what usually are the, let's say, the tricks that the hackers usually make when they try, or the mistakes they usually do to try to hack people. And as I mentioned, we have the video training. So besides our simulations and beside our AI builder and besides our micro training for fast impacts, we also provide a complete rich video training that are, again, it's not micro, but we're talking about 5 to 7 minutes, 10 minutes max of training that allows you to educate your employees. This can be from actual onboarding. So think about it. Today, people are getting more and more onboarding. Employees are getting onboarding, getting offboarding. Today, after COVID-19, people are starting from their home, just virtually, are working hybrid. So there's a lot of missing puzzles or things that are always changing in this big machine called an organization. And sometimes it's very hard to keep track. So we are providing we understand this challenge or this pain, I would say that, and we're providing from our onboarding videos, be able to assign onboarding videos for new employees, to maintaining for the sake of just enrichment videos or mandatory videos that are also accompanied with the quizzes to see, or really to be able to quantify the understanding of the employee that just watched the video, if you really understand what is spear phishing or really understand what is security hygiene or password security, in a very fun, engaging, easy to digest way. When we talk about localization, so we provide really any dub or subtitles language for our client request. This is also including in the quizzes himself. And we see it as something, so there is the awareness to maintain the attention, there is the fast impact, but when it comes to knowledge, we providing, again, more and more video libraries and games and quizzes, of course, that allows you as the security champion or surveillance champion in the organization to provide a complete training solution. This thing comes also from the strength of cyber awareness. Cyber awareness is, as I mentioned, we came, people that built awareness from a place of really educating cyber professionals. So cyber awareness is part of bigger group called the BSW group that is coming from cyber academies. So our strength in training is the way that we are able, we do programs also for cyber academies of BSCC, like a full academic 3-4 years studies. So we are able to also take a lot of knowledge and always keep up to date with when it comes to education, definitely security education. So we're always maintaining a fast pace of just injecting more and more training materials for our people, our clients, to go ahead and make it accessible for their employees to their own choice or not. Again, it's completely no code, allow you to do it in a very, I would say, beautiful way. And I think this is one of the biggest advantages of cyber awareness is not only we're a techie company, but we also are backed by cyber professionals, instructors, and really academies that are allowing us to have a complete synergy when it comes to not only build the most cool and most innovative technology in the cyber awareness industry, but also with the best quality content that could be out there. And of course, it's more simplified. So if someone is doing a degree, probably the employee will get something that's more simple for him and more shorter for him. But this is giving us some kind of a, let's say, unfair advantage in this industry. We can do you from transparency for the complete onboarding of how long it takes to people to complete it and how long it's taking them from the moment they started to the moment they finished. How long it takes, if it's mandatory or not. We also understand sometimes, so from these insights, we also be able to build a better training session, the next training session, because we understand that as you see the engagement of people, how long it's taking them, what was the subject, where you are able to understand what you should improve and what not, and also, of course, communicate it to different stakeholders and colleagues in the organization. We have multiple quizzes that even if you assign a quiz to some kind of in English, let's say, and the guy speaks better Spanish, you can in one click of a button be able to change to any language he wants, including the videos, including the quizzes. We're fully localized to any kind of language, and we provide a full completion of the not only of who is doing what, but what's the score, and again give you more call to action insight to help you better to understand where you should go next. I'll talk about the gamification. Edward, how are we with time? Just okay. I'll try to move fast. In the gamification, again, we're understanding that our goal is always to keep people engaged. So we also, in first of clients' request, we are hearing our clients, and we always want to be up to speed with our clients' request and really understanding the market. We understand the place of in games. We provide interactive games to help people to, again, another way to be able to digest knowledge and to learn and understanding, and also another way to provide to maintain the people engaged. This is another tool feature from our tool set. And this, by this, I just sum up really our, let's say, our training capabilities and things that we're doing really well from my standpoint. And now I want to talk a bit about defense. Again, cyber awareness is not a prevention tool. We're not preventing emails to get to your inbox of your employees, but we do understand our key player, not only, and I will show you how it's also affected the training, but also from the response of your security teams. because some security teams may don't have a full, complete, from SOC or whatever, but they do want that fast, let's say, first responders capabilities, and this is part of what Cybersecurity do. So I'll really start from the beginning. For us to understand the engagement of the employees, and also in our simulation and training, we'll need to, it's a bit tricky because, in the end, if an employee is super passive and didn't open the email and didn't do anything, you would say, wow, this employee is the best cyber awareness guy in our organization, but maybe he was just in vacation for 3 weeks, or maybe, just is a guy that doesn't like to read his email. So for us, we had to understand, to be able to help with the visibility of the human attack surface in any organization, we will need to have some kind of an engage factor in it. So we are build a completely native plugin for both Outlook and Gmail that works smoothly in the organization, that helps you also, and it's also part of our scoring system. If it's installed or not, of course, our scoring change based on if the organization had it or not. We're able to provide you an understanding of who is engaged, who reported it, who opened the email and then reported it, who opened the email, pressed on the link, and then, or who didn't report at all, to give you another kind of layer of visibility when it's come to your organization and how your people behave, your employees. And it's, again, completely automated. So not only when someone is reporting a phishing and it's part of the simulation campaign of your awareness training session, we also provide that you get an automated response decided by you if it's going to be at the same moment or maybe just by the end of the simulation in general. You'll get a response that this is what was part of the simulation, and so on and so on. But let's say, God forbid, I'll say it, you get a suspicious email, an employee get a suspicious email and press report. Again, the employee itself doesn't know if it's a simulation or not, and that's how you want to keep your employees engaged. In that case, this thing is fast forward to the administration, the awareness champion in the organization, where they can see what kind of reports are awarded and from who it came, when it was sent, what links were inside the email, and we're providing some kind of a first response team for any kind of phishing threats out there, and we're breaking out all of the email links, giving them scoring based on algorithms, and best also we're check them with different databases of phishing websites, and we're also analyzing the entire website code and so on, and we're able to give some kind of a management tool for our stakeholders to be able to not only train for cybersecurity or aware or educated their employee, but also be able to manage suspected phishing training, suspected phishing attack. That's all from my side. Edward, how are we with time?
Yes, we're pretty good with time. We have about around 14 minutes or so. You can even go a little tab further, depends on the questions that are being asked. But one of the things that I think that the program has highlighted, achieving its common purpose. Let me share my screen here quickly. Let me see. Can you release the share, Vijay?
Yeah, yeah. Here you go.
So, as mentioned before, when we look at the activities of the program, you want to be able to conduct awareness activities. You want to be able to determine the competency level. You want to also establish the competency development, program. In other words, you're asking questions, doing stimulations, you're doing all these wonderful things. And the hope is to build, and the hope is to move on to the next stage, also go higher and higher in your difficulty level. That also demonstrates that the user is actually learning and able to give back. Now, the programs always have to be adjusted to the organization. Obviously, you perform the analysis, looking for those gaps and so forth. You have your champions and so forth. It has to be fun. What we will say is that the employees should be involved in much of the program itself, and introduce it, you communicate with them and so forth. But also for the programmer, the person who's going to be running the program, being able to simulate those specialized simulated attacks and so forth can mean the difference between having to go through a whole heap of different configuration or just point and click in a few steps, and you can achieve your purpose. So again, to establish and to plan and to conduct makes it a lot easier. The evaluation part is what we would discuss not only through the program, but by also, if you look at the reporting module where persons could report suspicious email, you can have, outside other activities where you might have like a billboard, you might be sending out newsletters and so forth. Or even, let's say, every quarter or every end of the month, each department have a little meeting where they discuss different developments within your areas and etc. You can also gauge how well that program is going. You can put more inspiration into it and so forth. So therefore, for CARISAT Global, when we start looking at cybersecurity awareness programs, something that can drive organizations, we want to go beyond the proof points. We want to go beyond the Fortinet's programs and many of the other programs that are KnowBe4 and programs out there, to give users that flexibility to be able to log in and manage, to be able to create stuff on the fly, to be able to have micro training coming back a lot more easier. The difference not only in the videos, but the games and etc. Going forward. So PJ, I think that yes, it would, something like this really needs some level of a proof of concept where a person, I'm sure that is interested in becoming, look and see, what is involved, see if it meets their requirements, because we actually encouraging persons to evaluate a program, see if it fits not only your budget, but fits your needs for what a program is supposed to provide. Now, in the previous poll, we were asked many persons if they were running a cybersecurity program. There was a very good percentage, and not quite sure what those programs would look like. If it's just something that a person say, well, we just have a list of policies, or it is actually, I think they say that's integrated, not quite sure what that means, but there are different programs that are integrated that you can actually see, and you log in within a year, you see a posture changing. It can be referenced on a NIST cybersecurity framework. It can be on the ISO platform, etc. So I think is a very good idea is that those who are now looking to manage their risks and want to start that awareness program, looking at a program like Cyber Awareness, I think it's going to move you a lot more quicker and develop your users very easy, compare some things to these other particular programs. I have the poll currently up right now. Only see 26% completed. I'm going to share those results right now. And then we move on to the final, right, the polls wasn't enough in terms of persons to answer. So it's right now is at 25% or 50-50 between those questions. And I have one more last poll that we want to answer, but PJ, is there anything else you want to add?
No, I really agree with whatever you all just said right now. I think in the end, when our goal, and again, I know it's challenging when it comes, it's much easier to configure a server than to configure a human being, I would say that. And definitely when it comes to a big organization that moves on all the time. So our goal in awareness is really to allow you just to allow accessibility to all of the things that will make your employees maximize their potential when it comes to cyber awareness. Not only the awareness, but actually be the security hygiene of your organization. And again, fast, not a lot of resource, not a lot of attention, just be able to be there in the frontier of when it comes to awareness training. that's for me. I would be happy to answer any question if there are
Right,
any.
because the program has to be very risk-based. There's not there's something that business might implement a program and hope for the best. It may be somewhat costly, or it may not be able to be sustainable in terms of management. It becomes sometimes a little bit old and repetitive, etc. Being able to have a program that you can integrate existing changes within your environment or within the threat intelligent world, it has to be dynamic. I don't know how many of you would have listened to the People's Business last night, around 8 o'clock plus here in Barbados. And one of the things that we mentioned is the sustainability of any particular program, the ability to continue to have a program sustainable can mean that big difference between someone clicking on a full because they might have had training this month, and because of how the program is run, it might be biannual. The thing is that this year can be throughout the whole year of the, if you want to call it a yearly life cycle. And the aim is to make sure that your employee do not click on a piece of ransomware email, that drive downloading a file, etc. But the fact is not also to share usernames and passwords that can give persons the ability to compromise their email, especially at the higher levels. So I think that this program is very sustainable. It is not expensive to say that it's going to cost you, couple hundreds of dollars per year to carry out training. The fact is that you have a very dynamic, up-to-date training that can give you the direction that is so needed. Again, I believe that many persons are most probably have started the day. I see quite a few have logged on, but I'm gonna go ahead and share these results so people can see. So we have those who have not started a program as yet, to those who have answered. Cost is very minuscule, but the manageability is very important. I think that this program gives that high level of flexibility. Point and click is AI-driven simulator, like a little bit of information, and you can create those customized landing pages, emails, etc. That is the one that I see that was most important. I think that persons, some of these solutions I see out there, they're not really dynamic. They give a kind of glass over feeling. Yes, well as an attack is always kind of what we're seeing. The specialized emails are very important. As AI is now driving phishing emails, it's going to be very important for your employees to understand what some of the landing pages or even some of those emails look like. Gone are the days where something seems a little bit generic. You can now scam the internet for some, maybe possibly for your employees or maybe your boss. If you're very chatty on Facebook and all these Instagram and all these types of systems, you can craft the character of that particular person who can then email you. Like for instance, it could even be your boss. Other instances, it could be the IT department, etc. The fact is, stating that something has changed and we need to use a name and password. The fact is that it has to be dynamic. It cannot be static. And our worry in the industry that the standardization of any program of yesteryear is still continuing to be looked upon for those companies who have now started to initiate doing something. So we're going to find ourselves behind time by looking at existing programs that are not flexible and dealing with today's threats. Because if anyone look over the last couple of months, we will see that the threats has literally gone up in terms of the reporting. There's so many, and many times it's the vulnerabilities that are known 3 or 4 months ago and happening to big companies. If it happened to big companies because they're not staying on top, it tells us that the program is somewhat a little bit stagnant and they're depending tremendously too much on technology than sometimes the human firewall, which are the ones that's going to click. It's all about governance. So again,
just one click.
yes, just one click. Just one click is needed. All of them. We have Just recently going into the weekend, we have TSTT, we have the healthcare, we have many businesses, and you can almost guarantee when you hear about a website or a system that has gone offline, it's not because of a distributed denial of service, what we call DDoS. You can almost guarantee that it has been a ransomware attack. It has started to encrypt files, and the only way they can stop that's to disconnect the network, start unplug. And that is the whole rolling process. We have discussed this there a couple of months ago in talking about cybersecurity, ransomware, and so forth, of different solutions that you can recover instantly. But the fact is, if your program is stagnant and it's old, you don't have the capabilities to utilize next generation strategic solutions like cybersecurity, like cybersecurity awareness training, active backup and recovery, active follow, etc. Go ahead, PJ.
So I think, Edward, in the end, as you mentioned, like hackers are not staying in the same place. Like as they are moving forward and being dynamic, your training program should do the same. And you should always need to keep the pace when it comes to new attacks, new threats, and new attack surfaces. So again, we have to maintain that it's not click and forget. You always need to make sure your employees are being educated and trained on the last relevant attacks so that are being made or being used by hackers. Hackers also are using AI today. It's not only businesses. Everyone is utilizing it. And you also need to understand that today it's very cheap to be attacked. To build a phishing attack is almost cost nothing, and we're understanding it, and that's why we want to make sure this thing is much more accessible, not only from engaging the employees, but only by building always the most relevant training program and most up-to-date every time, every training session. And that's what we do in Cyber Awareness.
Okay, good, very good. There haven't been any questions or anything that has been put in the chat. So again, PJ, David, all from Cyber Awareness, I want to say thank you very much. We can only hope that this session has been very informative. I know there's a lot that could be handled, and in an event like this, is some things you need about 2 hours, but not everyone might have that time of the day. Again, we are open to any questions. You can email me at info@carryset.global if you want to set up a POC with Sirens, where you can have maybe a more individual, customized, not a webinar demonstration to you, or actually review the system. Please do not hesitate to contact us. Thank you very much, and everyone have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.